Alex Clark is with us, host of POPlitics at Turning Point USA. We got Luke Lloyd back with us as well, Strategic Wealth Partners, investment strategist. Guys, I know these numbers get to be numbing after a while, and Republicans, ironically, are criticized, Alex, on the $1 trillion plan, $980 billion to be exact, on infrastructure, because it's not enough. That tells you pretty much all you need to know about spending right now and the idea to push it still further. What do you think?
Yeah, I will say this. I went on a road trip recently out of state with a few of my girlfriends, and usually it's just, when it comes to gas money, everybody's kind of like, oh, don't worry about it. No worries. You don't need to Venmo me any money, but not this time. Everyone was a huge stickler for pitching in on gas money. When we're sharing Ubers and stuff, everybody's making sure splitting the cost. So I have noticed that my single, non-married Gen Z millennial friends definitely seem to be spending money. It's just not as much, I think, that we would be spending if it weren't for inflation.
Interesting. Well, see, Luke Lloyd's the kind of guy who treats everybody. So, he wouldn't have to worry about that. But, Luke, I am wondering, though, when you read polls about all the spending going on, a lot of Americans are okay with it as long as they don't have to pay for it. And that's a very big distinction, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. This spending is ridiculous and crazy. Neil, when does this stop? Inflation is real right now, and it's hot. This is what happens when you get irresponsible spending and policies in Washington. Just go to the grocery store, gas pump, or your favorite restaurant and compare those prices to a year ago. But, Neil, what I'm really worried about is if wage inflation is going up too quickly for small businesses. You should think wage inflation is actually a good thing, but if wages go up too quickly, it can crush those small businesses that are the backbone of the economy. The economy is finally opening back up, but because of the irrational unemployment benefits that have been around so long, you're seeing a ton of businesses that can't afford to stay open or hire people because they need to beat a great unemployment salary. Thankfully, there are 24 smart and mainly red states that are ending the unemployment benefits, but there are still 26 states that have them. Then factor in tax increases. It's like Democrats want to put small businesses out of business and crush the middle class.
Looking at the environment here, though, it hasn't hurt the economy yet, Alex, right? I mean, we're still, firing on all proverbial cylinders here. And then, this uptick in inflation is due to demand. People are coming out of their homes, better part of 14 months. They want to spend, they want to enjoy themselves, they want to go on a good trip. And it's all evidence in tickets and bookings on cruises, on airlines, and hotels, you name it. I'm just wondering how long that lasts, because if these prices keep going up, there's a limit to how far you can push that. What do you think?
Well, I saw yesterday President Trump did say that. He was saying how this is only going to get worse. This is just the beginning. So if that's the case, then I feel like this surge that we are seeing in cruise ship tickets, and right now I can't go into a mall without it being body-to-body packed. Everybody is so excited that states are opening up and they're wanting to spend money, get new outfits, go out with friends. Everyone's wanting to go on vacation and spend money there, but that may not last very long. I know that a lot of people also, during the pandemic, different apps like Klarna were created where you could almost lay away big bulk purchase items. So people are doing that instead of getting credit cards so that they can afford clothes to go out. But yeah, I don't know how long this can last.
So you actually enjoy going to a mall and being packed in with people. I just want to make sure I've got that right. You
Neil, I don't enjoy going to the mall packed with people, but I do enjoy getting some cute new outfits. Let me just be clear.
Understood. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just find if hell is something, I think it's a mall. I don't know for sure, but that's what I worry about. But
close.
Luke, all kidding aside, I'm wondering what you make of this environment, though, because it is sort of if markets are worried about it, they're not showing it. If businesses are worried about it, they're not hinting of it. In all of their follow-up comments after their earnings, their guidance was very robust, thinking that this is going to go on a while. And even Janet Yellen today talking about these inflationary pressures, though real right now, are relatively small and not to worry about. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I think a lot of these concerns right now, it's too early to tell what's really going on. I think another year or two out, we're really going to see the impact of all the inflation and taxes. I mean, taxes are going to be a big headwind to the stock market. With the proposed new tax laws, there's a lot of concerning pieces. Corporate taxes rising from 21% to 28% is about a 6% drag on the stock market, and it's going to slow job growth, research development, and ultimately slow the economy. Capital gains rising could cause an influx of selling in the stock market to realize gains before the taxes actually increase. And another big piece that hasn't been talked about much is the removal and step up in basis when somebody passes away. This means the inheritance tax could be close to 50 to 60% when somebody passes away. This is the worst possible time to hike taxes, slow the economy. Really, increasing taxes is just putting America behind. America used to be the #1 innovator in the world. Now we aren't even considered in the top 10. These unemployment benefits, higher taxes, stimulus, and regulations are all causing America to fall behind. Essentially, the government should be doing the opposite of what they are doing right now. There's been so much government intervention that has restricted the free markets and capitalism from working properly. Getting people back to work, halting the stimulus, and keeping taxes low are all ways to drive competition, drive innovation, drive healthy wage growth, and drive the economy and innovation of America back to #1.
As long as you don't pass away. Luke,
Right.
Thank you. Alex, thank you. Great job, guys. Much appreciated.